Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, finally, the 8-month journey is over. The regular season is finally here for the NFL. From now until February, we will be getting football every single Sunday. Now, of course, things will kick off Thursday night between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. Should be an interesting game on Thursday Night Football. It should be an indicator for how the Lions are going to look, because a lot of people are very high on the Lions this year. But we're not here to talk about the Chiefs and the Lions, at least not that specific game. What we're here to do today is to give our final regular season predictions. I'm going to predict every single divisional winner and potential playoff spot for both the AFC and the NFC. It's going to be controversial because there's probably going to be teams that you believe should make the playoffs or teams that should win their division, and you're gonna sit back and get mad at me for my picks. But we love doing this because it's fun. You don't have to agree with me. Whatever you believe, feel free to leave it in the comment section. We can always debate it. At the end of the day, it's an objective point of view. It's a personal point of view. It's an opinion after all. You don't really gotta take it that serious. So, we are going to focus on the AFC, and we're going to cover all four divisions in terms of how we view it, who's winning the division, how the records are going to go down, and at the end of it, we'll give our playoff predictions. All right, with that being said, let's start off with, in my opinion, the toughest division in football, the AFC North. Now, as you can see, I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. I do not deny that. So it's very difficult for people to look at my point of view when I'm talking about this division, because they're going to see it as me being biased as opposed to being objective. I will say this though. I believe this season, every single team in the AFC North has an equal chance to win this division. In my opinion, when you look at the talent and the rosters of every team in the division, you would not be surprised if any one of them win. If Cleveland comes out of nowhere and wins the AFC North, I would not be surprised because of the talent that they have there. So in a year like this, where all four teams could realistically win the division, how do I see it going down? Well, I see it being a battle. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are one of the most interesting teams coming into this season because a lot has changed since we last saw them in Cincinnati when they lost that playoff game against the Bengals. For one, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator that's been there throughout the entirety of Lamar Jackson's career, he's gone. Not there anymore. So that's one. Greg Roman's gone, Todd Monken's in, and in comes an entirely new system. And number two, a change-up at receivers. The Ravens this offseason went out and signed Nelson Aguilar. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. and they drafted Zay Flowers. 3 new receivers for Lamar Jackson. You pair that up with Rashad Bateman. You got Mark Andrews. You got Isaiah Likely with your tight end group. You look in the backfield for the first time in 3 years. You will have a healthy J.K. Dobbins and a Gus Edwards paired together. There's weapons all over this offense. Defensively, there are some concerns at the corner position, but when you look at the linebacking core, when you look at the safety position, those are some of the best in the league. You look at the front seven, it's very young, but there's a lot of talent and potential there. So we have to see what that turns into. There is a new veteran presence in Jadeveon Clowney. We'll see how that works out. But when you look at the roster for the Ravens, you see a very talented unit. And at the end of the day, with the talent they have, they can easily win this division. Now, when it comes to the Ravens, their biggest obstacle is their health. It's not the Steelers, it's not the Bengals, it's not the Browns, it's their own health. In each of the last 2 years, the Ravens have been unable to stay healthy down the stretch, suffering severe injuries before the start of the season in 2021, losing damn near half their roster, including their franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson. Then you get into 2022, the injuries start piling up throughout the season, and once again, you lose your franchise quarterback in Lamar Jackson. What hurts is that in each of the last 2 years, Baltimore had a multi-game lead advantage in the AFC North deep into the season. If Lamar stays healthy, chances are they win the division. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So if this team can't stay healthy, you're going to see a similar season to what you've seen in the previous 2 years. But if they can stay healthy, they're going to be one of the best teams in football. I look at their ceiling. I got them at 13-4 at their when it comes to their ceiling. Their floor, I got them around 9-8. The reason for that is because I believe this year in this division, if Baltimore's suffering injuries, they're going to lose those matchups against Pittsburgh, against Cleveland, against Cincinnati. They have to stay healthy. And they got some tough games down the stretch in the second half. They need to be healthy. And if they're not, they're going to lose games in bunches. So ceiling 13-4, floor 8-9. I'm going to put them at 12-5 on the season, and that's going to be very interesting because when we talk about the next team, you'll see something similar. The Cincinnati Bengals, they're a very interesting team coming into this year. In each of the last 2 years, they have gone to 2 AFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. And in fact, in that Super Bowl that they went in 2021, one can argue if Aaron Donald doesn't make that sack on 4th down, Joe Burrow is a Super Bowl champion right now. They were very close to winning the Super Bowl in 2021. They were very close to upsetting Patrick Mahomes again in his building to get to another Super Bowl. This team is clearly a Super Bowl contending team, and they're looking to get back there and hopefully win the championship. Now, of course, they lost vital pieces within their defense. Those were serious Pro Bowl guys that they lost. And it's a very, very, very clear indication that this defense is going to be taking a bit of a step back. They're hopeful that these new younger guys will be able to step up, but when you lose the talent they lost on defense, you do have a level of concern. Of course, they did replace it with some younger talent. We'll see how that works out, but the defense isn't going to be as aggressive as it was, because when you looked at Cincinnati's defense, they were very underrated. Everyone talks about Baltimore's defense, talks about Pittsburgh's defense in the AFC North. Cincinnati's defense was very sneaky, and I was shocked at how they were able, that secondary alone, I was shocked at what they were doing to Josh Allen in that playoff game. I couldn't believe how they were shutting them down. So they were very, very good at that. But I think the defense is going to take a step back. That's not much to worry about when you have Joe Burrow as your quarterback. You got one of the best wide receivers in the game in Jamar Chase. You still got T. Higgins, still got Tyler Boyd, you still got Joe Mixon in the backfield. You have talent all over the offense. No one's going to worry. They're going to have one of the best offenses in football, and that will make up for it. We see it all the time with the Chiefs. The defense isn't the best, but the offense can make up for it, and that's exactly what's going to happen with Cincinnati. So when it comes to Cincinnati, I think they have a higher floor than Baltimore, but they have a similar ceiling. I have them around 13-4 for their ceiling, but their floor, honestly, I was thinking 10-7, but I might be inclined to say 11-6. This team doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and if Joe Burrow is healthy, I expect them to be in the playoffs, be it the winner of this division or a wild card spot. They will be in the postseason. Mark that now. Well, assuming Joe Burrow stays healthy, but we don't know about that. He did suffer that calf injury, but he is practicing, so he may be on track for week 1. Either way, I am going to put the Cincinnati Bengals at 12-5. So you got Baltimore at 12-5, you got Cincinnati at 12-5. Obviously, I have these two fighting for the division, and I actually picked the Ravens via tiebreaker. Now, this is only if the Ravens stay healthy. If the Ravens don't stay healthy, Cincinnati's going to take it. But I think it's going to come down to a tiebreaker. So it can either go Baltimore's way or Cincinnati's way. Either way, I have both teams at 12-5, and one of those two teams is going to take this division via tiebreaker. Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I come into every season saying that the team I fear the most in the AFC North is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's because that defense is for real, that defense is lethal, and somehow Mike Tomlin continues to get these guys prepared to play football games, and they somehow find a way to win. They're finding ways to win 9 games and actually be in the race for the playoffs with subpar quarterback production. So if they're winning 9 games with subpar quarterback production, what would they look like if they can just get decent production from their quarterback? In comes year 2, Kenny Pickett. Now again, we don't know what he's going to be. So far in the preseason, it looks like he's starting to take that next step. We'll have to wait and see. But if he can give you decent production, this is going to be a 10-win team, no question. If he can give you elite quarterback play, you might as well hand over the AFC North to them. Because when the Steelers have a great defense and an elite quarterback, none of us can compete. And that's been the case for a long time, okay? 2008 is a clear example of this. You're just not beating them with an elite defense and an elite quarterback. It's not happening. So if Kenny Pickett takes that next step, hand the division to Pittsburgh right now, it's a wrap. But we'll have to wait and see. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10-7 because I believe Kenny Pickett is good enough to give you the level of production that you want. Of course, he's got George Pickens. He's got a Deontay Johnson. You still got Najee Harris in the backfield. He's got weapons to utilize. That defense is still one of the best in football. TJ Watt still leads the drive, and obviously they're going to be an issue. I think he's going to give you decent production. And if he can give you decent production, no question they're going to win. They're going to get 10 wins, and they're going to be competing for a playoff spot. And they might surprise people and steal the AFC North. It all comes down to how Kenny Pickett looks. So, with that being said, last but not least, the Cleveland Browns. And I already know Browns fans are going to hate what I got to say, and they're not going to like where I've ranked them because I have them 4th in this division. I want to say this right now. This isn't based on talent. This is based on production in terms of what we've seen from Cleveland right now. We do not know what Deshaun Watson is going to be. Is he back to rare form? Is he going to be the Deshaun Watson we saw in Houston, or is it going to be a lot similar to what we saw last year but a bit better? We don't know what we're getting from Deshaun Watson. We don't exactly know how they're going to look. There's a lot of what ifs and questions when it comes to this team. Now, of course, with Baltimore, you do have questions, but the only question you really questions such as like the offense, how is it going to look? How are these receivers going to look and all this other stuff? You're asking that, but the main concern for Baltimore is just staying healthy. For Cleveland, it's wondering, is this going to be good? How is this going to be productive? Is the defense going to be better than last year and all this other stuff? Me personally, I just want to see this team put it together. They have the talent to take this division. In fact, I may be inclined to say in the AFC, you could look at Cleveland as a dark horse team because Deshaun Watson is the piece that could take them over the top. If he's returning to rare form, Cleveland could be a serious contender this year. It's all up to him. Obviously, you still got Nick Chubb running the ball. Obviously, you still got Amari Cooper there. You still got David Njoku. You got weapons. And that defense led by Myles Garrett is still a problem. So, it can go either way. Right now, I'm placing them at... What did I have them? I think I had them around 9-8. I had them at 9-8. It was either 8-9 or 9-8. Either way, I'm pretty sure it was more 9-8. I didn't give a single team in the AFC North a record below 500 because they're just that damn talented. So I have them at 9-8. I just need to see them show me it. If they can show me it, I'm dead silent. Just show me it. That's all I'm asking for. So, with that being said, I got the Ravens winning the AFC North via tiebreaker. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Moving on down to the South. Honestly, this is the easiest one to speak of. There's not much that we have to go into. It's not about to be a 10+ minute discussion like the AFC North. The AFC South is relatively simple to me. The Jaguars are going to win this division. I have them at 11-6. I don't have to worry about that because I believe Jacksonville is taking the next step. We are watching Trevor Lawrence take the next step. And of course, with Calvin Ridley now being activated, you already know what's going to happen. Evan Ingram finding his hands. They've got weapons. In Jacksonville. And as long as Trevor Lawrence takes the next step and continues to improve from what he did the second half of last year, they're going to be a problem. And I think he's going to make that improvement. They at least look like they finally have their guy. And I know Trevor Lawrence has the ability to lead this team into the playoffs and potentially further. So I'm looking at Jacksonville and I'm saying this is the team that's going to win this division. This is the team that could be dangerous. This is the team that you actually have to worry about. If I was to actually make a pick that actually deserves to be a dark horse Super Bowl team, it would be this team. I'm giving it to Cleveland because Deshaun Watson literally changes the entire aspect of this. Whether he's Houston Deshaun Watson or the Deshaun Watson we've seen over the last year in Cleveland, that will remain to be seen. But if he's back to Houston, bro, he could take everything over and it could be an entirely different thing. But with Jacksonville, low-key, they should be a dark horse Super Bowl contending team in the AFC because what they were able to do last year was amazing. And if they build off of that, they will be a problem. So I have them at 11-6. I already have them winning the division, so there's not much that needs to be said there. Behind them will be Tennessee. I got Tennessee around 9-8. Tennessee always finds a way to compete. They're similar to Pittsburgh. They'll find ways to compete. They'll find ways to win football games, but I just don't know where they're going to go from there. I am not a believer in Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's not the guy. I know he's a great quarterback, but he's not the guy to lead you to the promised land. And things are starting to take a sour turn for Tennessee in terms of this whole quarterback situation. Ryan Tannehill is there, but we know he's not the guy. And they're still trying to figure this out because they're not sure. Malik, he still looks like he's somewhat raw. He's improved, but I don't know if they trust him enough to put him out there. And their draft pick in Levis, are they going to throw him out there too at some point? I don't know. So Tennessee is going to try to compete, I guess. I don't know what the plan is. Either way, I don't see them making the playoffs. They'll be a 9-8 team this year. After that, we have the Houston Texans. I have them around, I'll give them 6 games. 6-11, could be worse. We'll have to see what CJ Stroud can do for this team. I mean, they got weapons. They added to the defense, but this is a year where you see what your rookie quarterback can do for you. Same thing for the Colts, who I have them winning one less game at 5-12. Anthony Richardson's very raw, and we're going to have to see what he can do. I just look at CJ and Anthony, and I'm just thinking, this is their rookie year campaign. It's all about building, improving, and getting the experience you need to hopefully help you get to the next step in year 2. So this is just a year that both these teams are not really looking to compete. They're looking to see what they have in their young quarterback. If he all of a sudden takes over and does his thing, they'll be here for the train, but I'm not expecting much from that. So yeah, AFC South will be taken by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next up, we have, AFC East. How do I tell the AFC East? Let's start with the Bills. The Bills are still one of the best teams in football. They're still a Super Bowl contending team, according to many people. According to most analysts, most TV. Listen. I want to believe in the Bills. I've believed in the Bills in each of the last 2 years, and they've disappointed me. Now, in 2021, it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. Like I said, 13 seconds decided the Bills' season, and that defense failed in the worst way possible. But last year was a huge disappointment at home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You guys got humiliated, and that concerns me. So, is this a team that's gonna come out here, have an amazing regular season, and then underperform the playoffs? That's an issue. I hope that's not the case. You want to see more of 2021 Josh Allen than 2022 Josh Allen in the postseason. It just was a mess. With that being said, they're still one of the best teams in football. Like I said, I have them at 13-4. I still have them winning this division. Ain't nothing changing. Yes, Miami has improved. Yes, the Jets have dramatically improved, and they will definitely be a force. But I am not picking against the Bills in this division. However, despite it being 13-4, I still think it's going to be relatively close because the Miami Dolphins are right behind them at 12-6. Miami will make the playoffs this year just like they did last year. The biggest question mark is Tua's health. Can he stay healthy? But they have all the weapons in the world to be able to compete. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, you have all the weapons left and right. They've improved on the defense, though unfortunately they did lose Jalen Ramsey for the first half of the season. He'll be back towards the late end of the season when they're trying to make a playoff push, or hopefully trying to take the division. Who knows? It's going to be a close battle. I think the AFC East and the AFC North is going to come down to the wire for who's going to win the division. Either way, I got the Dolphins at 12-6. Not much to talk about there. Their talent speaks for themselves. As long as Tua stays healthy, they're going to be a playoff team. After that, I have the New York Jets. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers being there with the new weapons he has, it's going to be very interesting to see how they perform. Obviously, that defense itself is still going to be very ferocious. That defense last year was carrying them to wins. So now that they have a competent, not going to say a very competent, but a competent right now, because we have to see if Aaron Rodgers has something left. Is last year just one of those one-year, one-off wonders, or is this actually the descent of Aaron Rodgers? We are not 100% sure on that. So let's not just assume that this guy's going to come out and be the two-time MVP we've seen in 2020 and 2021. 2022 could be a sign that he is declining fast. So I can't take that huge step and say, oh yeah, you're going to get MVP Rodgers. Because if you end up getting MVP Aaron Rodgers, they're going to win the division. And I don't know if you're going to get that. So I have them at 10-7 just to be safe. I think, as long as Aaron Rodgers is decent, if he's solid, that defense is going to do the rest of the job. So I'm very interested. Obviously, Wilson is going to be looking to connect a lot with Aaron Rodgers down the field. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the Jets. I don't really have much to say here because they've added so much talent to this team. It's just going to be fun. Obviously, I think Dalvin Cook was another interesting perspective there. I'm just very interested in seeing what happens with this Jets team. I think we all are. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. I got them at 10-7. And last but not least, I got the Patriots at 7-10. In all honesty, I'm not sure what the Patriots move is. Like, what are they doing right now? Are they trying to compete? Are they rebuilding? What's happening with the Patriots? Also, what's going on with Bill Belichick? I mean, these last couple seasons, they've been losing. You think Robert Kraft is starting to count down the days before he starts really considering getting rid of Bill Belichick and completely starting a rebuild? I don't know. But right now in New England, things ain't looking so great. Mac Jones has shown that he is not the guy, but they only have him, unfortunately, which is funny because, like, I was about to say they also have Zappy, but they released him. I don't know if they ended up putting him on the practice squad or not, but they released him, which shocked me because I was about to be like, yeah, well, you know what, just switch to Zappy, but they don't have him because I remember seeing the report about that. But yeah, Mac Jones is here right now. He's the guy, but it doesn't look like they believe he's the guy. So what's going on with New England? I don't know. Either way, 7-10, they'll find a way to be competitive, and then we'll just try to go from there. So in the AFC East, I have the Buffalo Bills winning the division, just barely edging out the Miami Dolphins. Last but not least, the AFC West. Not too much to complain or talk about here. It's the Chiefs division. It's Mahomes' division. Obviously, I believe the Chiefs, they're going to take this division. They're going to probably be in the AFC title game. And if they play their cards right, which most likely they will, they'll be back in the Super Bowl to try and win a third championship. They're trying to repeat, and I think they're going to be the best team in the AFC record-wise. I have them at 14-3. I just have them at 14-3. Mahomes is Mahomes. Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. Andy Reid's one of the best coaches in football. He's obviously a Hall of Fame coach, and he's got 2 rings to his name now. What else is there to say? The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Ain't nothing going to change. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're going to win this division. They're going to go deep into the playoffs, and it's going to come down to one of the few teams that match up with them in the AFC title game. Be it Cincinnati, be it Buffalo, be it Baltimore, be it Miami, be it, who knows, the Jets. I don't know. Whoever matches up with them is going to have to find a way to win an Arrowhead because the Chiefs are going to get the number 1 seed again, and good luck beating them in their building. Next up would be the Chargers. I got the Chargers at 10-7. Honestly, I can't trust the Chargers, man. Last year, I gave them a chance, but blowing that lead in the wild card round to the Jaguars was disgusting, and I can't get it out of my head. The fact that Staley is still here as the head coach makes me lose all sort of faith in this team doing anything good this year. I have them at 10-7. They'll compete for a playoff spot, but all of that is due to A, the talent they have offensively, and B, Justin Herbert's ability. He'll carry this team. They're going to win games with Justin Herbert, but I don't think they're going to do anything major this year in the postseason. In fact, wait until the end. You'll see what happens when I talk about the my playoff picks. But yeah, I don't trust the Chargers because I don't trust in Staley. Also, they're always inconsistent. There's times where the defense disappears despite the fact that they have great talent defensively. And there's times where you look at the offense and they just get stagnant. They don't know what they're doing. They just look lost out there. There's so much with the Chargers that I can't trust them. I really do fear for Justin Herbert, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. I fear that he is about to follow his predecessor in Phillip Rivers. He's going to follow his legacy, man. Just putting up great performances, fantastic seasons with great stats, but never winning anything significant and missing a lot of postseason action because his team just chokes in the worst moment or makes a mistake or the head coach is not good enough to help them or to coach his team down the stretch when they need it. I don't trust the Chargers. I tried to give them credit in each of the last 2 years, and they found a way to just screw up in the worst way possible. And because of that, I can't trust them this year. Hopefully they prove me wrong, but I can't trust them this year. I got them at 10-7. After that, of course, we got the Las Vegas Raiders. I got them at 8-9. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do anything special with the Raiders. Devontae Adams is still there, but I don't expect much to happen with the Raiders. They'll try and compete, but I don't see much coming out of this. So yeah, I got them at 8 and 9, and then follow suit 7 and 10 with the Broncos. I guess that might be an improvement from last year. I don't even remember their record. The record was awful last year, so I guess this could be an improvement with Sean Payton being there. But right now, I don't even know what their receiving core looks like because of all the injuries. Who is Russell Wilson gonna throw the football to this season? I don't know. It's already heading downhill before week one's even started, and that's where you would have the concerns. So I just look at this Broncos team, and hey, maybe you'll see Sean Payton lift them up to prominence. Maybe we'll get a resurgence of Russell Wilson, but I'm not sure right now. I have a lot of questions. I know the defense is still going to be great, but that offense continues to concern me, and I don't know if that offense is going to take a positive step in the right direction. I just don't know. So yeah, I have them at the bottom of the division. At the end of the day, I got the Chiefs winning the AFC West. So with that being said, we have our divisional winners. From the AFC North, the Ravens barely edge out the Bengals via tiebreaker. In the AFC South, the Jags somewhat handily win that division. In the AFC East, we will have the Buffalo Bills barely edge out the Miami Dolphins for the division. And in the AFC West, we'll have the Chiefs cruising. So those are your divisional winners. That's 4 playoff spots. We have 3 wild card spots. And in my opinion, based on how I've assessed it, I think it's going to be one of those years similar to 2021 where 1 or 2 teams get screwed over because of the tiebreaker. There's going to be a couple teams that miss the playoffs. You got 10 teams in the AFC that could be a playoff team, and there's only 7 spots. So there's going to be a couple people that get screwed. For the 3 wild card spots, the teams I have chosen are the Cincinnati Bengals, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets to make the playoffs. The 2 teams I think will barely miss out is the Chargers and the Steelers. Now, this can go either way. However the tiebreaker works, that one is maddening. So maybe the tiebreaker works where the Steelers get in and take out the Jets. Maybe the tiebreaker works where the Chargers get in and they take out the Jets. I don't know. Either way, you're going to have 3 teams that are going to be 10 and 7, in my opinion, the Steelers, the Chargers, and the Jets. And one of those 3 is going to take that final wild card spot. I'm just not sure who. I chose the Jets. So that's how my parlay looks here. That's how my playoff team looks here. Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Jaguars, Bengals, Dolphins, Jets. And we'll go from there. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. Thanks for stopping by. I'm so glad the NFL season kicks off this week. It should be a fun ride. It's going to be fantastic. Cannot wait to see this go down. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace out.